Hi, I'm Teresa, and recently I went on a trip to Bali with a few friends, and it's the most sketching that I've managed to do on a holiday, even though this wasn't a specific sketching trip. So I wanted to share what worked today and do a little flick through of the sketches that I've done. So firstly, when it comes to the sketchbook, this is one that I actually made myself. I found it very difficult to find sketchbooks which are as thin as I want to be able to, be able to finish sketchbooks quite quickly and have them quite lightweight to carry around with me. And I think that made quite a large difference here. So this one that I made is made with an Artec Como Sketch Pad paper, which is a mixed media paper. It's 210 GSM, so it is quite nice and thick. I have a habit of buying sketch pads and then just never really using them. So I've started trying to create sketchbooks out of them just with a very simple binding and without a cover, because they normally live inside my Paper Republic notebook cover. So they are protected inside of here, and I don't have to worry about them getting dirty or scratched up inside my bag. However, I felt this entire cover was a bit too large and chunky to fit inside my bag with everything else that I needed to carry with me. So I've opted for a different thing, which also came with that cover from Paper Republic, and it's just a cardboard cover basically. It's actually just a folio type thing, and I have put my sketchbook inside with just a regular elastic band. And although it's not quite as heavy duty as the leather, it is very, very nice and slim and very light. So it does the job very well. So when I only want to take a sketchbook with me, I think I'll probably be using this as a cover from now on. So I'll do a flick through of this sketchbook a little bit later, but first I just want to go through some of the other things that I brought with me. So for doing the actual line work and sketching, I used the Sailor Fude pen. So this is a fountain pen. I have it filled with a permanent black ink, so I'm able to easily do watercolours over the top of it without it bleeding. And the reason that I chose this particular pen is that it has a bent nib. And what that means is that depending on the angle that I hold the pen to the paper is going to affect the thickness of the line. And this makes it very easy to get both thin and thick lines and to be able to get an expressive sketch down very quickly, which was helpful because I was able to do sketches whilst in the moment, then snap a quick photo and do some colours after, which is what I did on this particular page here. You can see that there are some very thin lines up here and then also some very thick black lines, and that's what I'm able to achieve with this Fude pen. And then for the colours, I have my little paint box here, which I've talked about in a previous video. What I've done since then is I got a mini ice cube tray. It's a silicone one, which I was able to cut up, and it now allows me to have up to 12 colours. I just have 10 in here at the moment, so these are tube paints, mostly Daniel Smith, except for this one, which is a Winsor Newton gouache. The rest are Daniel Smith watercolours. So it's amazing to be able to have this many colours. I have pre-mixed yellows just because when I'm after some speed, and especially when I'm out and about, having a green available is essential rather than having to actually mix the yellows and blues together. And this is a decent mixing area. So this tin is white enameled, or it has a white enamel on it, and that allows me to do some mixing in here. So it's not a huge space compared to what I'm used to working with, but it's enough to do the job, especially when working at such a small scale. I did bring a travel brush and a little travel water container with me, but what I found easier to take out and about with me is this little travel brush. So I think this is a Sakura one that came with a watercolor kit that I had previously, and it can fit in 2 pieces, and it has its own water reservoir, so I don't need to have an extra thing of water to be able to dip my paintbrush into. To use it, I can just take off this little stopper and then screw on the top. And with the lid posted on the back, it's almost a full-sized brush, so it is quite nice and easy to work with. I can squeeze this water reservoir to be able to get extra drops of water out when I need to activate my paints or clean my brush. And it does take a little bit of practice to be able to get the water control compared to using a paintbrush and water, but in terms of portability, this definitely wins. And I also bring just a microfiber cloth with me because to be able to get that water control, there's a lot of dabbing on here to remove water, and because I don't have something to swoosh my paintbrush around in to be able to clean it, I have to squeeze this area here and then really clean it on this cloth, which is why it is so dirty. So when I want to do some sketching, as I've shown before in other videos, I use a little magnetic clip. I think this is actually just like a fridge magnet. I probably came home with a kid's project at some point. So I clip it on here, and that gives me a nice stable surface to be able to sketch and paint on. When I'm ready to paint, the paints clip on with quite a nice satisfying click. I'm able to hold my cloth over here with my hand, and then I can easily paint and wipe in here. So I'm able to do this standing up, or if I have the luxury of being able to work at a table, I can put it all down and it's a lot easier to be able to work with. Overall, it's actually a pretty small kit. So I didn't really put it together into any little bag. I just kind of tucked all this stuff into my bag that I would take around with me, and it does a decent job. It was everything that I needed to be able to use on this trip. So here's a quick tour of my sketchbook. So I went with a few friends. We were all turning 40. Obviously, I don't know how to spell 40. We did our best to chill and relax, even though we don't typically get to relax in our day-to-day lives as much. I did some swatching and testing on my first page. I did a lot of this on the plane. So I did actually bring a few other materials with me, but didn't end up using them quite so much. It was mainly this sailor pen. And another quick test on the page, on the plane. Not my best work, but I just wanted to test out the paper and the painting technique with it. Day trip to Ubud. This is the Kopi Luwak place. So while my friends were tasting teas, I did this sketch and I finished it off later at home. I was able to do some sketching and painting at this place, which was nice. This is from lunch at a place that we went to on that Ubud tour, and a temple that we visited. We also got a bag of mangosteens on the way home, which is something that we're not able to get where we live, so it was nice to be able to have them there. On a different day, I went and did a silversmithing class, so I painted the pendant that I made there. Very not Balinese style, but I was happy with it. And we got fresh coconuts and drank them with a view of a waterfall Tegug Nangan, and some ice cream. I did this sketch while my friends were relaxing by the pool, just of the pool area. near the at the resort, and we did a cooking class, so I painted these from photos afterwards and just noted down the different dishes that we made in the cooking class. And then we did a snorkeling trip. I took this notebook, sketchbook with me, but kept it in a friend's dry bag to be able to keep my paintings safe. I didn't end up doing any paintings there. I took some photos and did them when we got back to the hotel. So it's the boat that we took to Nusa Penida, a smaller boat that we were on for going to the different snorkeling locations. And this sketch is from a photo of my friend in the water. This is also from that snorkeling trip. We saw some chickens. There was one which was being held wrapped in a towel with a man on the boat, which I thought was funny. And this is at the Nusa Penida harbour. I did this page when I got home, and I still haven't added any colours to it, but I wanted to note down the different places that we went in case I want to go again or recommend them to another person. And lastly, because I was doing quite a bit of the painting and completing some of the spreads on the plane trip home, I got my friends to also do some sketches inside this sketchbook, so we've got a record of them being there as well. And then at the end, I just like to note the paper that I used. In this one, it is an Artec Como Sketch Pad 210 GSM one that I made. And this is inside this Paper Republic folder thing, held together with a basic elastic band. And that's my sketchbook tour.